Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Economic Preppers, where it's just Jeff here driving along. And I wanted to share something about me and about community and culture and a pop topic. And this is kind of it's building on Economic Ninja's video that he just did about the UFC. And the reason I'm mentioning is because I'm a big sports guy. I always have been a big sports guy. I was an athletic director in college. I played baseball through college. I played lots of sports intramurally. Always played and coached sports throughout my life. So I've always been a big sports guy. So the last 5 years has been difficult with people being divisive and different things popping up and different representations and different messaging coming into the sports world. Anything from English Premier League soccer to the NFL and now the UFC. So the reason I wanted to mention this was about community and sports and my own take on it. Now, again, I was very big into sports and fantasy sports. Still play a little bit now and then just for fun. Not nearly as seriously as I used to. I used to be world ranked and stuff and did FanDuel finals, and I was ranked in many sports, but it got to be too laborious and it just consumed me. It just got too much time because it takes effort to do well. Anyway, why do guys like sports? What is the point of sports? Explaining it to people who aren't sports people. So, first off, sports is a part of community. If you could talk to pretty much any guy on the planet 8 times out of 10 about, hey, did you see the game last night? Or did you see that something, they saw something. Most guys like sports. Some women too, not to be gender specific, but typically it's a guy thing. And instead of talking about the weather or politics or whatever that could be controversial, sports used to be a common ground where we're like, hey, did you see the great game, that catch or that play or that home run, that touchdown, whatever? Did you see that? That would be a great way to just talk to a guy. I've talked to many different guys at many different venues about, the teams that they follow, because I used to be, you can Google my name, my Twitter's at Jeff Pasquino, you know that now. If you Google my name, you'll find that I used to be a football writer for 15 years. So I was definitely on top of sports. And I've always been a big sports guy because it's a sense of community, which is a big message that we talk about on Economic Preppers, which is why I'm bringing it here. Community matters. And to be able to connect with people on certain topics, like, it's not always easy, but if you bump into somebody and or if you're in a sports bar, or if you're at grabbing a drink somewhere and the game is on, you can talk about something, especially if you're knowledgeable and on some level about what's going on, what the sport is, who's involved, what stage the sport is in regular season, playoffs, whatever. And this is a great time of year actually for sports fans, because in October you've got the World Series, you've got hockey just started, basketball just started, and college and pro football are in full swing. So you've got all the major sports in action in October. But now, over the last 5 years, pop culture and other aspects like politics have crept in, which is really, sports used to be a sanctuary. You want to get away from things, forget about life, forget about the problems that everybody has, sit down, have a nice beverage or something, some kind of way to relax, watch the game, relax watching the game. You can get away from the rest of the world for a couple hours. Not anymore, when everyone's taking a knee against racism, or they're taking messaging on their helmets or on the field, or the color of their shoes or their gloves, or even in the banners that are written across the back of the field, or even on the ring. That's what you have now in the UFC. And now you've got Bud Light creeping back into that. Now, if you haven't heard the story, and if you don't want to watch Ninja's video, that's up to you. He did a pretty good job with it, but the UFC has taken, they used to be sponsored by Modelo, which was growing a lot lately because Bud Light has had issues in the last year because they went woke. But now Bud Light, trying to get back into good graces with America, has signed a deal with UFC, which is one of the top sports leagues on the planet, and very popular. It was grew in popularity throughout the shutdown or the lockdown, because all of the sports were basically not being played, but the UFC was able to confine it to 2 guys in a ring in Las Vegas, and they could pull that off. Anyway, Dana White has decided to ink a deal now with Bud Light. I don't agree with it. I've liked to watch UFC. It's something on Saturdays. If I don't have a Saturday plan and UFC is on, I'll watch it. I may not pay for a pay-per-view, but if it's on and there's a good fight, I might watch it. Just like a college game. The only thing I really watch is like playoff sports, or I'm still kind of into the NFL, which is hard. Let's transition there. We've seen for years, right, that they try to bring pop culture in because they want the populace to watch the NFL and see the messaging. Exhibit A, Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is now dating Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has a much larger following on the planet than Travis Kelce. And it's funny, you'll see women say, hey, do you know about this tight end guy for the Kansas City Chiefs? Every football guy knows who Travis Kelce is. He's the number one tight end on the planet. He's on the World Championship Kansas City Chiefs. He's in ads everywhere. Him and his brother did a movie on Prime. He's got a big name, but it got even bigger thanks to all the Swifties out there and Taylor Swift. Well, Taylor Swift, she is not necessarily in the best circle of friends. I'm trying to stay a little YouTube friendly here, but the company Travis is now keeping is not the greatest, and people are scratching their heads at why he's doing that. Probably is related to money. Also, look at the ads he's doing now, where you can do two things at once, like getting your needle, I can say that, I think, or your jab for the flu, or a booster. Hey, why not? Two things at once. Just like grilling and like barbecuing and mowing the lawn, which I'm sure Travis does neither. But regardless, well, maybe he does. Yeah, I know he liked the gardening thing on the Travis Kelce movie. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I've seen enough highlights of it. In any event, I just wanted to put out my opinion that sports are good for culture. They are good for male athleticism and women too. Competition, getting your adrenaline going, getting exercise. People love to see competition. They love to see high level performance. That's why people watch these things. But when messaging from like what the powers that be want the message to be creep in, and it ruins the sanctity of the escapism that sports usually represents, it's problematic. And while I will try to escape the sports, and I typically on a Sunday I will be watching an NFL game, probably two. I love the Red Zone channel, but it gets harder and harder to do when you've got all this messaging creeping in. And now you've got another one here with the UFC come 2024 with Bud Light now being the sponsor instead of Modelo. That's a shame. Honestly, I think that Dana White made a bad business decision here, but we'll have to see what happens. But what are your thoughts? Do you still watch sports? What do you think about sports in society? Is it a good mechanism for an icebreaker and building a sense of community? Or should it all just be imploded and we move on? I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I read every comment. Looking forward to reading more. I know that we're doing our own videos this week because we got so much going on, but look for the three of us will be back doing a video shortly. But in any event, I'm looking forward to reading all your comments. I want you to be prepared and not scared. These things are coming. Check them all out. Be sure to go check the other video about the Walgreens and the cold medicines that are being pulled too. So check them all out. Read every comment. Take care, you guys. Talk to you soon.